Hey, thank you for coming back. My name is Agnes Pompadoodle. Over here next to me is my puppy dog, Princess Zoomy Pants. And today we're going to discuss Season 1, Episode 3, Wives on the Move. This was recorded October 3rd, 2010. And the episode description says Kody and his teenage daughters throw a birthday party for his new fiancée, Robyn. Meanwhile, first wife Meri struggles with feelings of jealousy as the whole Brown clan moves Robyn and her anxious kids closer to the family home. Welcome to the podcast, Sister Wives, a red flag rewatch. This is a podcast for disenchanted fans of Sister Wives, fans who fell in love with the Brown family, watched their precious kids grow up, and became enchanted with all the love, only to be told it was all a lie. Nothing was as it seemed. We were bamboozled, fooled, duped, tricked, conned, swindled, hoodwinked. What did we miss? Where did it go wrong? Come help me find out as we watch from the beginning. So it starts out, Kody is talking his teenage girls into throwing a party for Robyn. He says, Robyn and I have been courting for a while now, and we're engaged to be married. Our birthday is coming up this week, and I'm trying to get the girls to plan a birthday party. So he's trying to get the girls to plan a birthday party because he's never done a birthday party. Because who does the birthday parties? Christine. And Christine is very pregnant, and she don't even like Robyn. Oh my goodness. Just for reference, Robyn was born October 9th. So this is October 9th of 2009 that this is actually taking place. And she is actually turning 31 years old. And the girls are sitting around and they're talking about what they're going to do. They're saying lasagna and chocolate cake and ice cream. Kody says, and I am trying to plan moving her up here. We got to bridge the gap, the space between us, and that's not been necessarily a whole lot of fun. So Leon says, well, I think we should do face painting. Maddie poo-poos that idea and says that's too much. I don't think that's too much. Face painting is fun and it's cheap. You just get these little bottles of paint and get the girls to go around and paint all the faces, and it don't cost nothing to do it. I've always loved face painting. I don't know why Maddie's poo-pooing that. She says, I met Robyn when we had just come home from Wyoming. We walked in the door and all of a sudden there was this person. And my mom was like, oh, just to warn you guys, Dad has a friend over. Kody says, she goes, who's that? And I said, well, that's Robyn. And this is something I wondered when they said this. Every summer, the kids would go to Wyoming and help out on the ranch. The older kids would, and they would work and they would be there for a while. We're talking a couple months. And so I don't know about you, but if my kid has been away from the house for an entire summer and she comes home, and I don't think I would pick that time to set Robyn in the doorway. I feel like if your kid has been gone for a while, that they should come home. There should be a lot of talking and bonding and discussing how they feel and transitioning them back to the house. And because that's their home, they're going to feel a little off, a little different because they've been somewhere else for a couple months. And Kody doesn't think about stuff like that. I mean, why would you bring Robyn in after that? Just standing in the doorway. It's a lot. It's a lot. I wonder if they think about stuff like that. I wouldn't have done it that way. Then Madison says, and then we found out she was single, and McKelty asked, well, how old is she turning? And they said 30. Leon says, well, she could be my sister. I'm glad he didn't get an 18-year-old, which is probably what almost happened if you read the first book. But when they say she could be my sister, Leon is 15 at this age. That means that Robyn's 15 years older than her. In the polygamous culture, that is a possibility because they do have a lot of brothers and sisters, and 15-year age gap is not that uncommon. Janelle says, our kids have grown up seeing courtships with their friends and families, so this is not culturally strange to them. I mean, they've all had friends whose fathers have married again. And Madison says she seems more like a friend. Melanie from Notes to Self said that was one of the ways that new wives would kind of ease their way into families, is they would befriend the older girls. They would be like really good friends. And Melanie said that happened to her when a new wife wanted to come into the family. They'd be super nice to the older girls and get in and be their friend. And once they got sealed and married, that all would change. So this reminded Melanie of a lot of her growing up. Aspen says she thinks it's a little weird. Kelty says that Robyn smells your jacket and says it smells like your father. And she says, I miss your dad. And then that's weird. Kody says, for 16 years, we've had 3 moms and a dad. And the children have never been in the culture of fiance, girlfriend, potential new wife. Madison says, this side of our dad is kind of freaky. He's a teenager again. And if he was my husband with another woman, I'd be ripping her hair out. So she's never really been on board with the polygamous culture. Robyn says, Dayton's my oldest. He's 10 years old now. Aurora, she's 7 right now. My youngest is Brianna, and she is 5. I was married before, and we were a polygamous culture, but we never took on another wife. We were monogamous. And one of the theories as to why they never took on another wife was because there's something in polygamous culture called the repentance process. They're not going to let you get sealed to another woman right away if you're still in repentance. And why would Robyn be in repentance? Let's all think real hard about this. Could it be that she slept with her sister's boyfriend and got pregnant and had to get married? So now they are in repentance. And that's one theory that's out there, that maybe they were on probation because she was pregnant prior to marriage with her sister's boyfriend, allegedly. But she didn't say anything about that when she was talking here. She says it was a difficult marriage and we finally made the decision that we needed to end it. And as much as I'm scared of all these unknowns and it'll work out, it'll be okay. So when she says it was a difficult marriage, she also doesn't says, because I spent so much money, hid all my stuff in a storage shed and almost bankrupted him, his family, and his business. So she didn't say that. But yeah, it was difficult, allegedly. Anyway, Christine says, Kody and Robyn, they got engaged and everything. And I thought, oh, that's nice. They're engaged now. So now it's more official. Kody and I did not kiss over the altar because I didn't feel right about kissing a married man. And so to me, the fact that he had kissed Robyn, it was devastating. And this is polygamy teaching. You're not supposed to be kissing on anybody until you get sealed, because what you're actually doing is kissing someone's husband and you aren't sealed yet. Because what happens if you decide not to get married or something happens and you've been kissing on this man and you were never married? So it is wrong in polygamy culture to kiss before marriage. And that's probably why Christine didn't find out about it for a month. Do you think they just neglected that detail, or they just didn't want her to know because they knew that it would hurt her feelings and it wasn't what she was brought up doing? So that's shady. I don't like that. Robyn said, when Kody asked me to marry him and I said yes, he kissed me and I was like, all right, well, it's done. So let's focus a minute on that comment. Well, all right, well, it's done. We know now, just recently it's come out that the artist who painted this big extravagant oil painting of their engagement photo, she says on her site there is no more questioning as to when this picture was taken. She says on her site, and by the way, the engagement painting is like 3 feet high, 6 feet wide, and it costs thousands of dollars, but that's another story. Kody and Robyn told the artist that the picture was taken the day they got engaged. So we have all seen it. Kody and Robyn are forehead to forehead, pelvis to pelvis. Robyn's got on hooker heels. They're leaning against the hood of the car. And so you see Robyn trying to minimize it. And even in the last tell-all, she just lies. She just rewrites history. And she says, oh, he gave me a peck. It was an awkward little peck. We are not stupid. Look at that picture. Does that look like an awkward little peck? And does it look like what she's saying here that, yeah, he kissed me real quick and it's done? We are not stupid. That's so frustrating. Why does she say that? Because she knows she was wrong and she knows that she hurt a lot of people and she is sticking with that story even 15, 16 years later. Oh, it was just a peck. Here's the engagement photo. And when they talk about the engagement photo in the last tell-all, they show some random little weird pics that have nothing to do with their engagement photo. They didn't want that engagement photo for us to see. And you know why? Because it was controversial. It wasn't right in their religion. She's so frustrating. She's downplaying it by saying, well, it's done. Girl, stop lying. She's violated trust, religion, and boundaries. Christina's sitting here literally grieving, and Robyn is something else. I don't know. I need to stop talking about that. That frustrates me so much. She says, I knew it would be complicated, but I didn't know it would break my heart as well. This is Robyn talking. And we have cry number 2 on the books. So she is such a victim. Just say you're sorry. It's like sorry is not even in her vocabulary. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and Dr. Adam, and there's another one that's called Sister Wives Go to Therapy. It's fairly new, and I love when professional mental health people talk about this family. And they say that Robyn has the tendency, if you watch her, she never admits that she's wrong, and she will twist it back to be about her and then do that what Dr. Adam calls crying adjacent behavior, where she'll start to cry, but there's no real tears. And so people start comforting her. So we went from Christine being mortified and freaked out, and all of her trust is gone because you kissed Robyn prior to marriage, to, oh, it broke Robyn's heart. Robyn's heart is broke. Oh my God. I mean, I just don't understand some people. And then Christine says, I think he's going too much. She's referring to him going to Robyn's house all the time. I think him going down to see Robyn is tearing us apart. And then again, on the flip side, she's great. She just can't figure out. She's just trying so hard to keep sweet. So now we go to Robyn's birthday party, and Meri is giving Robyn a present, and it's a friendship bracelet. And if you look, Meri has long hair. I'm going to keep up with that just so we can figure out what the real timeline is on some of this stuff. So she has long hair in October 2009. And Kody sticks his face in there and says, I'm not the only one in love with Robyn. Just let Robyn open her present. Oh my gosh, Kody, sit down. And Brianna's trying to take the present while Robyn opens it, being true Brianna. And it seems here that Meri's just trying to earn points with Kody by being friends with Robyn. The nicer she is to Robyn, more points she gets with Kody. And Christine and Janelle, you don't see them doing stuff like this, just Meri. Meri says, I wonder when he's going to give me the attention that he's given to her, because she is the new thing, the new excitement. And we've been married for 20 years. And so you just think it's been a long time. And I do think I don't want to do this. I'm comfortable with Janelle and Christine. They get me. I don't know that I even want to stay sometimes. The only thing that even wants me to stay is my commitment level and my daughter. This is her family, and I wouldn't ever do that to her. This is pretty deep. When somebody contemplates leaving a relationship, that's pretty serious. That's not normal. This is a sign of distress. This is a survival instinct to get out. She's saying here that the only reason she stays is for her daughter. She doesn't want to separate her daughter from her family. And this right here makes you think about the whole catfishing incident. I never really liked the way that Leon treated her mother. Yes, Meri was wrong. What Meri did was not right as far as polygamous rules or whatever. But when you take this into effect, and the fact that Kody had nothing to do with her for years, and she really just stayed in the beginning for Leon, this is why I get frustrated about the way Leon treated Meri during the catfishing. Meri stayed for you. And when she was weak with someone else with the catfishing, even when Meri found out she was being used in catfish, that made it even worse. Your mother, who stayed with this family, was catfished and manipulated and blackmailed, and you're going to choose just not to talk to her. But she's human. You expected her to go her whole life with no companionship, nobody talking to her, nobody treating her well. Just for you, she gave her the silent treatment, which is cruel, especially considering the type of relationship that her and Meri have. It's very close. Very close. We were all shocked that Meri did that. And then we found out that what she went through. And I was judgy at first, but I was still like, dang, girl, that sucks, you know? And then we find out Robyn was maybe feeding the catfisher information, allegedly. Then we were mad at Robyn because even though it was no proof, we all believed that Robyn was in on it. But that's a story for another day. But how could the catfisher have known what Meri was wearing or what she was doing or the fact that she just went outside? Or Robyn was all up in that. You know she was. Anyway, all right. So it goes to Christine saying, so I'm pregnant with my sixth child, and I really thought I was done. I just really didn't have an interest in having any more children. Aspen one day told me I should really think about having more kids. So I started thinking about it, and my gosh, Kody always wants more kids. More kids. He loves kids. So anyway, there's a 6-year spread between Isabella and this baby. I am panicking. I am freaking out a little bit right now. I'm 37, had a miscarriage over a year ago, and I hemorrhaged and I passed out. It was really horrible. I don't know if anything is even going to happen with this labor. I don't know. I just look at my age as a factor and that I just want it to go smooth. So after Isabel, she waited for 6 years. She got pregnant again. She had a miscarriage, and now she's pregnant with Truly. She says, Kody is a great father. I was a little nervous at first, honestly, when I first got married. I wasn't sure he was doing a good job. What does that mean? What does that mean? I would like to know what that means. Anyway, but he is a great dad, and I'm excited to give him another one. That's more keep sweet behavior. And then it shows the OB explaining the ultrasound. He's explaining how when the baby first cries, there's a valve that closes in the baby's heart and it allows blood to circulate through the lungs. And that's why they need to cry. That's why it's so important after a baby is born. You got to hear them cry. That's that first breath. That's what's going to transition that heart so the blood goes into the lungs. So you want that scream. It's always a good thing. And then this man says, this makes me so angry. I don't know why this makes me so angry, but he says, I love the fact that Truly is a girl because I knew there was a chance that Christine might try again for a boy. This man, Christine is 37. She's already had 5 kids. She was pregnant last time and miscarried. And she didn't just miscarry, she miscarried and hemorrhaged and passed out. And I don't know if you know what the definition of hemorrhage is. It means to bleed nonstop, where it's very hard to get the bleeding to stop. And she bled so much that she passed out. Janelle and Meri both say later that they thought that she was going to die. There was so much blood that they thought she was going to die. And it scared the crap out of them. All this information, let's just pause. With all this information, Kody says, one more time, I love the fact that Truly's a girl because I knew there was a chance we might get one more because Christine might try for a boy. This man don't care about Christine. He don't care about her. Let me ask you this. If your significant other saw you have a miscarriage and bleed so much that you passed out, that everyone around you thought that you might die, would they want you to try to get pregnant again? I know for a fact my husband, he would have nothing to do with that. In fact, he would get mad if we even discussed getting pregnant again. But here is Kody hoping for another baby. And here's Christine wanting to give Kody more children. You know, I said I wasn't going to cuss on this podcast, but I will say this. That man can eat a whole bag of Richards. He is just something else. He just don't care about Christine at all. I don't understand him. I don't understand him. Anyway, so Kody says, so Robyn and I have been courting for a while. We're getting closer to a wedding and we're moving her from down south. And it shows him just chaos in the driveway. He says, all right, we got to get going. Let's load up now. And then he says, we got to get gas in the Suburban. You know, they are never ready. They just wake up the day of and just do life. There's no forethought to the fact that this is a big trip. They're 45 minutes late, and now that they got the 7 kids into the Suburban, now let's go get gas. They couldn't have got gas yesterday. Let's wait till the cameras get here. And I'm wondering maybe if he's thinking, if we wait till the production crew gets here, maybe they'll pay for the gas. Okay, so now they got to go get gas and they're in a hurry. They always do things last minute. So if the tires go out or they need gas, maybe the production crew will pay for it. Maybe they'll get lucky and the transmission will fall out on the way. Let me shut up. Okay. My goodness. And he says, just crack myself up. Kody says, I'm trying to herd all the the kids, to get them down. And he's yelling at the kids to go get your mama. That's annoying, and then he says, Logan's coming with me. Hunter's going with you. And he says, it's not a circus, it's a goat rodeo. And Queen Janelle says, I really couldn't get away from work. It was easier for me to kind of stay and watch the children that were still at home, to kind of supervise the home front. It's nice that's kind of that goes back to that sharing of duties. All hail Queen Janelle. Janelle, I hear you. She knows this is going to be something else. So she is practicing social distance from drama. Janelle just said, I gave birth to Logan and Hunter. There they are. Smell you later. Toodles. Later, Gator. Catch you on the flip side. I am on fire today. All right, I gotta focus. Okay. Robyn says, hey, you guys, welcome. Come on in. We just packed up the house. And on the ride down there, it shows Meri and Leon laughing in the car. They are really pretty close about this time. Stuff like this makes me miss my daughter. My daughter's 21 and she's up at state, and she is living in an apartment and being all self-sufficient. You can see Meri and Leon sitting and laughing in the car, and you can see that bond that they have together, and I just miss that sometimes. So I saw that, and it just kind of made me sad. But all right, it's just a tragedy. Story time's over. Story time's over. So Robyn's showing us her house, and she says Kody and family are going to be here tonight, and we have trucks tomorrow going to be moving. We have been wanting to do this move for months, looking at places. I've been looking for a job. Do you believe that? So next scene, if you watch this episode, you need to pay attention to these people on this couch. They've all got some body language that's very telling. Kody says, we actually started talking about months ago about having her just move into the house. And Robyn starts to shake her head and she cuts him off. She's like, no, 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 no. And she says, we just processed that all out. We just can't do that. It's not cool. I'm not married to him, and so I can't be moving into this home. It's not proper. Duh. And Robyn's shaking her head. She has cut him off. She wants him to stop talking. She does not want to live in that house. And there is a very interesting theory that if you look at Robyn, she is now dressing differently. She is now dressed in a double shirt and she's got a scarf around her neck. And Melanie from Notes to Self truly believes that they are already sealed at this point. She thinks they have had a ceremony and Robyn is wearing the special undergarments that are given at the ceremony. She says she thinks she can tell from what she's wearing right there. So when Robyn says, he can't do this, I can't move into this house, she's just lying. I really do think that she's probably lying. And Melanie thinks she's lying there too. They are finally moving her up there because they are now sealed. Also, Robyn has never wanted to live in that house. That means that each of the kids wouldn't get their own room and that she would be in the midst of all that chaos. She wanted her own place. And she has got to keep that facade up, keep this story while she's shaking her head. No, 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 we're not married yet. And she says, it's not proper, duh. And you can see Janelle look right at the camera. And if you're watching the YouTube video I put out on this, you can see Janelle's face like she turns her head suddenly and looks at the camera because she realizes that she's lying. And she's looking at that producer going, are we going to just keep going with this? And I don't understand why, even if they weren't married or sealed, why is it not okay for Robyn to move into that house? Because where did Kody stay when he went down to visit you? I mean, just think about it. That if he went down there and stayed in her house, why is it not okay for her to stay in his house where they could have saved money? They wouldn't have had to put out money for her own rental place, and she could have incorporated herself into this family. Why didn't it go the other way? The truth is, she didn't want her kids with the Lord of the Fly kids. She wanted Kody away from his wife. She wanted a place all of her own. She didn't want to share nothing. She didn't have any interest in the moldy bread situation going on over there. I don't know if you know about the moldy bread situation. One of the kids in a podcast later talks about how sometimes they would have to pick the mold off the bread because they were so poor. Robyn wouldn't have nothing to do with that. As soon as she says, I'm not married to him, Janelle looks straight at that camera with the look like, we're lying, look at us, you know? Anyway, allegedly, all of that's allegedly, but I totally believe it's true. Robyn says, I grew up where I had to hide who I was. This television show, will be a humongous shock to all of my high school class and anybody that knew me because I actually grew up this way of the faith. There were times when I couldn't claim my dad as my dad and he couldn't claim us. Why? Let's discuss this. She couldn't claim her dad as her dad. And her last name at that time was, when she lived with her mother in another state, her last name was Sullivan, which was Paul Sullivan. They had the same last name. If you are in another state and your dad shows up, you are not around people that are even going to know what your situation is. They're not going to know who your extended family is. You are in another state. Why can't you claim him? If he shows up in an event, say, that's my dad. Nobody knows who he is. I mean, you're not hiding nothing. And it wasn't like he was coming to visit them with his other wives. No, he was just coming by himself. Well, there's no reason to lie or to have to pretend anything. She is such a martyr. And this is new information. This has to drive Christine crazy because in her new book, she talks about all the things that she had to deal with growing up. I mean, her grandfather got murdered. People got put in jail. They got separated. Wives left in the middle of the night. She truly knew sacrifice with the polygamist. And the fact that Robyn couldn't claim Paul as her dad, that is not even up there. So I'm sure Christina's like, please shut up. Oh my gosh. She's such a martyr. She makes me so tired. So Maddie says, I'm here to help Birdie move and pack up. So Robyn has nicknames for everybody. So Maddie calls her Birdie. And then it shows Robyn. She says, Madison, I love that girl to pieces. I absolutely love Madison. Cry number 3. Here we go. She starts to cry. Madison says, my parents, it's their choice that they want to live polygamy, but my choice, I don't want to. I love my family and I wouldn't want it any other way. But for me, just one guy. And Robyn says, so just you and him. Yeah. And then she says, you won't get to have cool people like me, which is just a little bit more love bombing there that she's doing. She's being love bombed by Robyn. Lots of attention and being friends and giving nicknames. And where do those nicknames go? Nobody calls Robyn Birdie ever again. And you don't hear Robyn calling the kids any nicknames. That's just her just trying to get in good with the family. It's all manipulation there. And then Robyn says that Madison does not want to live this lifestyle, which is fine. You know, every child is going to have their own choice, and we're going to support them and love them through all of it. Okay, do they have their own choice? Do they support them and love them through all of it? Because if we flash forward to Vegas and the whole Janelle is wanting her kids to go to church for the social aspect because she's wanting them to make good friends, which is very rational and I think pretty healthy, but it gets shut down and Robyn says that they can't make their own decisions and starts talking about their frontal lobes not being developed. They can't choose their own church. But here, what happened to that? She says, we're going to support them and love them through all of it. She didn't mean that. And then she's talking about my son Dayton has Asperger's. Basically what it is, it's a high functioning form of autism. It's actually explained a lot of why he's been the way he's been ever since he's really little. They do a lot of hyper focusing or under focusing. And then it shows Dayton coming home from school, this total look of shock on his face because the cameras are there pointing in his face. So you're telling us your child has Asperger's, a high functioning form of autism. And everybody knows that children with autism like consistency. They don't like change. Why did you not meet your son in the driveway and say, hey, when you come into this house, there's going to be cameras? She just told us her son has a high functioning form of autism. Why is she not helping him out in the situation? Why is she putting him in situations that are going to stress him out? She had to have known when he walked in the door that that was going to cause an issue. So it shows them packing up and it shows Dayton pointing at a broken picture and he says, I'm sorry about that broken thing. And the way he said this just broke my heart because Dayton is so sweet. He has always been a doll. It just hurts my heart how he is such an innocent soul. We all remember that time when Kody and Robyn in Vegas sat them down and said their dad signed over parental rights and now Kody can adopt the kids. And Dayton just sat there just shocked that that even happened. And my heart went out to him. I'm like, that's cruel. Why would you say that on camera that your dad signed over parental rights? And then Kody gets all upset because nobody is excited. And he's like, you're not excited? You don't want me to adopt you? I just hated that for Dayton. Every time I see Dayton, I just feel so bad for him being brought up in that kind of situation. They didn't do anything to help him out. And Robyn says, yeah, I feel like I have tons left. Maybe it's just more like actually sticking it on the truck. The kids' bedrooms are mostly packed. And she's walking around her house and you can see her house. And she's talking about the moving trucks are coming tomorrow. And her closet is still full. The cabinets on the walls still have stuff in them. There are boxes all around the house. The beds are still made with all the blankets. I might just be OCD, but if I have people come into my house tomorrow with the moving truck and they're going to give me their time and their effort and they're going to help me move, I would have all the boxes by the door ready to go in order of packing. Every box labeled. I'd have Post-it notes on the furniture. I would do all this because I wouldn't want to waste these people's time. They are helping me. Every time these people move, they know they are leaving. It's not like it's a surprise. They just wake up the day of moving like, well, I guess I'll pack up everything I own now. We're going to move today. Nothing's packed. There's no gas in the car. It'll all work out. It'll be chaos and a lot of stress that could have been avoided by planning ahead. But nah, we'll wing it. It's fine. When they get here, we'll do it. If I lived in a house and somebody was coming to help me move, I would be ready to go. I'm telling you, the only thing that would be still left out would be like a toothbrush, toothpaste, what I was going to wear the next day, and a blanket and a pillow on the bed. I mean, there is no reason that she didn't have everything ready to go when they got there. I just don't understand these people. Christine says, I'm nervous that Robyn's kids aren't going to adjust well. I think they have a lot of stresses right now. And Janelle says, yeah, they're really still young, and that makes it worse. It makes it harder because they don't understand everything that's happening. No, with our younger children, they can't logic it out quite the way that the older children can. And I still think that Janelle should have went into psychology, not Meri. And then Robyn says, yeah, I'm very worried about the move. I'm worried about them being able to find friends. I'm worried about them adjusting to new school, and I'm worried about them adjusting to a whole new life and everything. And I'm concerned about all of it for them. And Christine says, we knew that Robyn had to be moved, and we knew that we wanted it to happen, and so we are going to help make it happen. And Meri says, this is my domain. Give me the power and I'm all good. And it shows Meri packing up the truck. Christine says, I can go and I can be like, cheering people on and moving people and saying, hey, do this, but we have to have Meri. Meri is the key. And Kody says, she's the packing Nazi. And you can't just be saying stuff like that. She's the packing Nazi. He thinks he's being funny, but it just kind of shows that he's not really socially aware of what the proper thing to say is. In this day and age, we're trying to be more politically correct. We're trying to think about people's feelings more. And I was looked at why it's not appropriate. And saying the word Nazi is not appropriate because it's a harmful practice for many reasons. It trivializes the Holocaust. It could offend Jewish people. It's disrespectful to the memory of victims. And many people are tied to intergenerational pain and loss. So he could have said that Meri was a controlling packer or an oppressive packer. But no, she's the packing Nazi. And he says this more than once. So he's not really educated on what might be offensive and what's not. And Christine says Meri's broken a sweat and she's sweating really hard because she's working. And so Kody is just standing there and all the kids are running around and moving stuff. And he's just standing there grinning like an idiot. And Kody says, it's like you're painting me as impotent here. I'm not a guy walking around with a finger in my nose and then the other one in my nose. Meri is aware that he's not helping because she says in a sarcastic tone, you guys did some good work. You guys did some amazing work. And you can see Kody rolling his eyes and taking off his gloves. He loves him some gloves. I think he thinks it makes him look good because he knows he's wrong. He knows he didn't do squat. And he says, your sarcasm is so reassuring. And Christine says, why are you so defensive all of a sudden? And Kody says, I'm always defensive. Then it shows Kody walking back to the truck and he's doing his wide-legged stance. Dr. Adam calls it Randy Savage doo-doo pants walk. And after he said that, I could see it. Like he's like trying to walk like he's got a full diaper and his knees are wide apart. And it shows him jumping in the truck. And it shows a picture of Brianna. She looks so cute holding her little fish bowl, which is really cute. Except I think she's got 2 betta fish in there. And I don't think you're supposed to have 2 betta fish in the same bowl, but that's just me nitpicking. I wonder how long them fish live. Robyn says these kids are just normal kids. They're just doing their thing, that they're normal and that we're just a family. And I'm hoping that this will be something that frees the kids from not living in secrecy and not having to say, hey, that's not my dad, but just saying, hey, this is who I am. And then it goes into Robyn's new rental house and it slows the video down and it plays this piano music so it will induce you to feel, oh, what a sweet family. We finally made it. Oh my goodness. It's all dramatic. And it shows them going through the rooms and Kody tells Dayton he has to sleep by the window to protect the girls. The boy is 10 years old. Leave him alone. Stop telling him to be a man. And women are not powerless. I mean, Dayton doesn't have to protect all the women. Maybe they can protect him. And it shows Kody and Logan wheeling this dryer in the house and they set it down about 5 feet from Christine. And Kody says, it's all yours now. So he's given this dryer to his 36-week pregnant wife. He expects her to hook up the dryer vent. And I've hooked up our dryer vent many times before. And hooking up a dryer vent is not hard. It's not hard, but you do have to get down and you have to crouch on the floor. And as you're crouched on the floor, you've got to screw in these screws to make sure that it's tight to the dryer and that it's tight to the wall and that the hose is straight and that there's no lint anywhere and that everything's nice and clean. But you have to pull the dryer closer to the wall. So she has to 36 weeks, she has to crouch down and screw things in. And this is not an activity for a pregnant woman, but Christine says you have to know how to do things like this. Why? Because Kody's gone sometimes and you just have to do things by yourself. So I do. And then it shows Kody thanking everybody for helping the move and thanks for being here. So that's the end of that episode. So now we come to the part of the podcast where I asked my tell-all question. And my tell-all question would be for Kody and Robyn. And I would say, can you tell us the exact date that you were sealed together by the church? Melanie has this theory, and I have this theory, and I would probably bet money that it's probably true that they are already married at this point, and they're just lying to us. Either so Robyn gets her own place for the show, or TLC will pay for a big fat wedding. Was the wedding that was on TV, was that a sealing? Was that a proper sealing of the family, of Robyn to the family, or was it just a wedding party? That's it for today. If you like my podcast, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to reach me, you can always reach me at redflagrewatch@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. You're welcome. I'll see myself out. Thank you for listening.